All right, if you're a real estate agent and you're looking for a new car, a lot of questions I get is, should I just go ahead and lease a car so I can write off that lease payment as opposed to the other methods that are allowed for writing off a car? And so it's a common question. I'm going to dive into some of the pros and cons here of renting a car, or not renting, leasing a car versus buying a car as a real estate agent. So first we're going to talk about why this really even matters as a real estate agent. Well, as a real estate agent, you can probably attest that you drive a lot of miles on your car. Driving around to open houses and showings and meeting new or just existing clients or contact leads, going to title companies for closings. There's a lot of places you need to go around town, and they rack up those miles on your car. So you drive a lot of miles, which becomes a big factor in how you take a tax deduction for your vehicle, but also how and which method you should use for buying a car versus leasing. So the mileage rate is really the big factor in all of this. Those high miles can lead to a big tax deduction, but they're a big negative when it comes to leasing. So let's kind of dive in. As a real estate agent, I've seen agents go anywhere from 15, even up to 30,000 miles a year on their car. So that can lead to a large deduction. In 2026, starting 72.5 cents per mile that you get as a deduction on your tax return. So if you drive 20,000 miles a year for business miles, that is, then you could be looking at a $14,500 deduction in 2026 alone. Now, if you drive those miles every year for 2, 3, 5 years, you can see those add up over that life of the car, why that really outweighs, in most cases, those actual expense methods. So the mileage rate is really your friend as a real estate agent because you are well above the average miles driven as a self-employed individual. So it's really important. The biggest factor here, of course, I'm going to say it a lot, is you need to track those miles. So you need to use an app on your phone like MileIQ, or keep some sort of log, however it works best for you, but you've got to track those miles, make sure you're getting the deduction you want. I guarantee you, people that underestimate the number of miles they drive as a real estate agent, and by tracking it, you're going to get that accurate number, and you're going to have the support you need if it were needed in the case of an IRS audit or something like that. So that's why it's really important. So let's kind of talk about the pros and cons of actually buying versus leasing, and let's start off with buying a car. So kind of the pros there is you're going to own the car, and so if you pay the car off, or as you pay it off, you can kind of build up some equity in there. A lot of times we start upside down, I get that, but once you pay that loan off, you have whatever that value of the car is in equity that you can then use typically to put as a down payment or towards that next car. So you are building up some equity in that car as you pay it off. You don't have any mileage limitations, and we'll talk about this more as we get into the lease, but you have no restrictions from anybody on the number of miles you can put on your car in a year. And then as you rack up those high miles, you really get to take advantage of that mileage rate deduction. 72.5 cents is a lot per mile these days, and so that you can really rack up. And then you get to keep it, once you pay off the loan, you can keep that car as long as you want, as long as it's running and in good condition there. So talk about the cons. So cons of buying a car versus leasing. You're probably gonna have a bigger down payment you'll need, or you're gonna have larger monthly payments, I should say. So it can be more expensive on an ongoing basis in those terms. You have to deal with all the maintenance yourself. Sometimes we'll talk about with leases, you can get some maintenance covered in there. And as you rack up those high mileage, there's no restriction on it, but your value does decrease. The value of the car does decrease, and that equity you've earned would decrease as you up those miles. Now let's compare that to leasing. If you're leasing as a real estate agent, some of the pros are, you can have a lower monthly payment. That is the biggest advantage, I should say, of leasing is they typically have lower monthly payments as opposed to buying a car and financing that out. It's typically leases are 2-3 year terms, so you can constantly upgrade your car and keep a new, fresh car, maybe look a little more professional as a real estate agent. So that's something that is a little bit easier to do when leasing a car, certainly. I mentioned sometimes with the lease, you can get some maintenance plans covered in there because somebody else actually owns the car. They want to make sure you're upkeeping it. So sometimes they give you some maintenance covered in the plan to make sure you're upkeeping that car for them and they get that value when it comes out. And then with a lease payment, you can still take the mileage rate as we mentioned, but you also have the option of taking deducting those lease payments and you get to deduct the business portion based on the miles you drive, business versus personal, whatever that percentage of business use is. Apply that to your lease payments and that can be your deduction on that. That's a little bit different than the normal two ways because it's a lease and you don't actually own the car, so you do have that option either way. You can still take the mileage rate, as I said, but the actual expense method really is then those lease payments that you're making as opposed to the depreciation and when you buy a car. So the big cons, the biggest one, as I've harped on, is going to be those mileage restrictions. So with leases, every lease has a mile restriction attached to it. Typically, it's anywhere from 10 to 15,000 miles, and that's going to affect your monthly payment in there. If you go over that at the end of the term, and it's over the course of it, it's not per year, it's just after 3 years, if you have 15,000, if you go over that 45,000 miles, then they're going to hit you with an overage penalty, anywhere from 15 to 25 cents. It's pretty typical, I think, these days. And so if you go over those mileage limits, as I mentioned, you can easily put 15 to 30,000 miles for business as a real estate agent. And if you're only limited to 15,000 in total, including your personal miles, you can see you can easily go over those and really rack up those 15 to 30 cent per mile overages. You're locked in for that 2-3 year lease term. It's harder to get out of that if you want to earlier than it is with buying. You may be upside down, but you can at least always sell the car, pay the difference, and get out of it. It's just a little easier if you're buying it. And then if you are leasing a car over $62,000 was the last time I think they set the limit. If you go over that, they consider it a luxury car. And then there's limitations then on how much of that monthly payment you can actually deduct as part of your tax return. So you're further limited, not just the business portion, but then it comes down even more if you're over that 60,000, somewhere in there, 62, but I don't think they've come out with 2026 numbers yet. So with all that, you can see really the recommendation as a real estate agent is to buy the car and finance it and not go the lease route because mainly those mile limitations, just even having that restriction, it's going to put a restriction on what you do and maybe influence how you perform your job, which could have a negative impact. So not only the overage and the cost and offsetting any of the savings of those monthly savings, having a lower lease payment and then getting hit with a big overage penalty at the end might offset it, but it's just going to impact how you operate as a real estate agent, and it's really just not recommended for any real estate agent because you are putting those miles on your car. Let's kind of put some numbers on there. So you put 25,000 miles a year on your car, including business and personal. You've got a $12,000 annual limit on your lease agreement, 25-cent overage for every mile over that, 13,000 miles over your annual limit for that year. You're looking at a $3,200 penalty for just that 1 year. If you got 2-3 year lease on that, you're looking at $9,000 in penalties that you would have to pay at the end of your lease. So that's why it can hit you hard. Again, the one thing you don't know is how many miles you're going to put on your car every year, but you've got to drive around a lot as a real estate agent, so you are going to rack up some substantial miles. And when you own the car, you don't have those restrictions. Yes, it's going to lower the trade-in value or that future value that you have in that car, but there's no limitations essentially on how many miles you can put on in a year. So it's really just better off as a real estate agent because those high mileage rates. If you do want to go ahead and lease, it's just really what you want. Just know what you're getting into. Know how many miles you really are going to put on your car in a year. Know what mileage rate or limitations you have on the lease. You can get a higher lease rates out there. There are ones that do high mileage leases. So those could be an option as well. Of course, you're upping the monthly payment when you go into those, so it may not make it as attractive, but know what they are. Monitor your driving every year and periodically, so you know where you stand with those mileage overage rates and know what that overage rate is going to be. As long as you know what's going in there, you can prepare for that if you really do want to get into the lease. But that's really my overview. My recommendation, of course, as I mentioned, real estate agents drive lots of miles, leases, limitations on the number of miles you have, so they're not good options for real estate agents. That mileage rate is typically always going to be your better option, and going ahead and buying that car and holding on to it and using those mileage rate deduction is going to be your best option. If you have any questions about this as it relates to buying a car versus leasing, love you to leave those comments below. I'll try to answer them as best I can. Otherwise, thank you for watching.